Get ready for the dictation in 3, 2, 1, start. The plaintiff mentions that he had filed an application to be made a party in the partition suit as the decree issued there and the further proceedings were prejudicing him. Stop. It is submitted that another application for recalling the order and decree dated 16/11/2005 was also moved before court. Stop. Both the side applications were dismissed as withdrawn to enable the plaintiff to seek appropriate remedies to challenge the said decree. Stop. It is submitted by the plaintiff through his counsel, who reiterated the averments in the suit and order applications that the decree questioned in this case cannot stand legal scrutiny. Stop. The plaintiff contends that the defendant was conscious of the fact that the plaintiff had acquired title and interest in respect of the suit property by virtue of the transaction entered into with her in 2003, and latter having received substantial amounts to the extent of rupees 30 lakhs, and therefore was duty bound not to make any statement that would have affected his rights. Stop. It is next contended that an act of fraud unravels the entire transaction. The first defendant, having accepted a substantial amount of rupees 30 lakhs, could not have taken any step that would have injured an innocent third party's interest, as in the plaintiff's case. Stop. Counsel contends that such agreement or transaction is void by virtue of Section 23 of the Contract Act, and any decree which is based on such agreement or contract cannot stand judicial scrutiny. Stop. The plaintiff also contends that the documentary evidence in the form of the registered partnership deed further corroborates the creation of his rights, which the defendant was bound to honor and not affect in any manner whatsoever. Stop. He also relies on the receipts allegedly executed by the first defendant while receiving the sum of rupees 30 lakhs. Stop. Para. The defendants submit that the suit as existing is liable to be rejected as barred in law. Stop. It is claimed that even if the averments in the plaint are taken on their face value, the plaintiff has not established how, in the absence of any will or other instrument conferring exclusive title to the first defendant, she could have passed it on to him. Stop. It is submitted that the suit is one for declaration. Stop. Counsel points out that the plaintiff does not seek specific performance of any agreement to sell, nor does he contend that any conveyance or registered document of title in respect of the suit properties was executed in his favor. Stop. It is submitted that the plaintiff was also aware that the property was not owned exclusively by the first defendant, but she was a mere owner of an undivided and latter a defined share. Stop. Under these circumstances, in the absence of any transaction with the other owners of the property who were defendants in the partition suit and are defendants in the present suit, there can be no question of his claiming any legitimate or enforceable right in the said properties. Stop. It is submitted that besides the allegation by the plaintiff about having entered into an agreement to sell the property is highly dubious and questionable. Stop. Counsel stressed that the plaintiff is entirely lacking in any particulars about the said agreement to sell apart from mentioning the alleged consideration. Stop. The other essential ingredients that make a valid agreement to sell, such as the time frame within which the sale deed was to be executed, the party required to bear the expenses for execution of convenience, and such like essential terms of the bargain do not appear from the pleadings or any other document placed on the record. Stop. Thank you.